What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Peacock's new series, Mrs. Davis. Let's rock this. First up, I would like to say thank you to Peacock streaming service for granting me the screeners to this entire new series. They've asked me to not spill spoilers, therefore this review is spoiler free. I repeat, there are no spoilers in this video review. I knew it! The minute I heard that Damon Lindelof had something to do with this show, I knew that Mrs. Davis was gonna be bizarre, which it totally is. Just like Lost and that 2019 HBO Watchmen miniseries, when it comes to Lindelof, the story would always have a touch of oddity and quirkiness accompanying the dramatic themes. Nothing is always what it seems, and an unlocked piece of the puzzle would only lead to yet another strange discovery. Sometimes silly, sometimes profound, but definitely strange. And lo and behold, Mrs. Davis is no different. But straight up, if you ask me, do I like this show? My answer is yes and no. Mrs. Davis to me is a mixed bag. I love that it's very brazen with its sacrilegious metaphors, but I hate that each revelation kind of undermines or shoots down every expectation that gets built up for that mystery. The first two episodes have sufficient what the hell moments to reel you in, but the subsequent episodes, especially the ones that dive deep into the character's history, are painfully sluggish and boring. Written and executive produced by Tara Hernandez and Damon Lindelof, in Mrs. Davis, Betty Gilpin stars as Simone, a nun who goes to battle against an all-powerful artificial intelligence known as Mrs. Davis. Jake McDormand plays Gilpin's rebellious ex, who also has a personal vendetta against the algorithm. Co-starring Andy McQueen, Ben Chaplin, Margot Martindale, David Arquette, and Elizabeth Marvel. There are a total of 8 episodes, each runs an hour long, and trust me, these episodes do not waste a minute of that 1 hour runtime. It starts out action-packed, and I'm not allowed to tell you the details of that, and then it cuts to present day when we meet Sister Simone. Friendly reminder, Betty Gilpin's character, Simone, is not the title character. The title character, Mrs. Davis, is the name of the AI who is the omnipotent entity speaking through people wearing AirPods. Mrs. Davis would argue that she provides guidance to her users and wings to those who complete their quests, but Simone views her more as a tyrant, or more like God if God was an asshole. At times, this show seems to be mocking religion, and at other times, it seems to be calling for faith in the unseen. One thing for sure is that if you are sensitive and a deep believer, you might get triggered watching Mrs. Davis, because believe you me, those buttons will be pushed. Some of the religious metaphors are baked into the comedic elements, and that is where the show is at its strongest. And the cast, Betty, Jake, Andy, and Chris, are more than happy to play out those peculiar absurdities. Speaking of whom, Betty Gilpin is magnificent. Her incredible, effortless, unbelievably remarkable talent is on full display. Betty makes it look so easy. Her character Simone is layered and complex. The story and her past provide her enough reason to have trust issues, and this quest for the Holy Grail just reignites those trust issues all over again, because so much of what's truly behind the door is hidden from her and us, the audiences. And Betty fires on all cylinders. I mean, if this was a skit shooting, she hits the targets on target every single time. Obviously, the themes of divine intervention or destiny versus human personal choice are at the heart of this show. But to reiterate what I said earlier, some of the revelations are extremely lackluster. You be like, what? I invest myself in these characters and their MacGuffin journey only to find that it's actually just this, or it's actually just that? So yeah, prepare yourselves for some disappointment. I think the problem is that Tara Hernandez and Damon Lindelof sometimes get lost in their ridiculous imagination and creativity, which are generally not a bad thing, but sometimes they can get so lost in there that they wander off and gradually ease the hook that they had on us. I just feel that sometimes this show forgets to keep things within the realms of what an average audience can digest without leaving them feeling foolish and confused. So, overall, I give Mrs. Davis the rating of 3.5 out of 5. This show is designed only for those of you who are familiar with the styles of Lindelof's storytelling. If you don't mind him taking you on a ride of expect the unexpected, then chances are you might end up becoming big fans of Mrs. Davis. So that's it. That's my review of Mrs. Davis. Smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know, share your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, subscribe. Let's rock this.